You are born in the year 1332. He world smells of wet earth and warm porridge. Your first cradle is a basket meant for grain. Your childhood is endless fields. By the age of 5, you're already chasing crows away from the crops, the same crops that feed your lord. It is the year 1340. Great famine is still fresh in the elders' memories. You learn to value every last crumb of stale bread. You grow strong. By 14, you can lift a sack of grain as heavy as your own body. The fields and the forest become your teachers. You are 16. The strongest years of your life are just beginning. You fall in love with the miller's daughter, and life feels endless and bright. It is the year 1347. Our rumors spread of a strange disease from the east, one that cuts people down faster than a scythe through wheat. But no one believes it. But ships begin arriving in the ports. Rats are the first to leap onto the shore. In their fur, they carry a death no one can see. The priest is the first to fall ill. His neck begins to swell. His face darkens. The prayers fade away, replaced by quiet groans. Panic spreads through the village. Your father locks the house. Don't go outside, he says. But death is already inside. Death does not choose. Your mother is the first to go. You watch the light fade from the eyes that once looked at you with love. You bury her yourself. There's no space left in the cemetery. So you dig a grave in the garden beneath the apple tree where you used to spend your days. The town turns into a tomb. At night, the carts roll through the streets, their wheels creaking in the dark. Bring out your dead, they shout. Then the flagellants appear. Fanatics who whip their own backs in the streets, hoping to beg forgiveness from God. When the village became a mass grave, you realize something. If you stay here, you are only waiting for your turn. You take your sick father and leave for the forest. He lies across your shoulders, heavy as the sins of this world. His coughing shatters the silence of the woods. And on his neck, dark swollen lumps begin to grow. You approach the city gates. Stop! The guards shout from the walls above. Crossbows are aimed straight at you, and in their eyes you see pure animal fear. To them, you are not people. You are the bringers of the end. You fall to your knees before the gates. Your father is barely conscious. And then someone steps out of the shadows. A silhouette you will remember for the rest of your life. A bird. No man. A massive leather beak. Glass eyes with no trace of mercy. A plague doctor, the true master of these streets. I can save him. A raspy voice croaks from beneath the mask. But the price will be high. You will give me your life. You agree. Your father is taken to the lazaretto, an island where the sick are kept. And you are led away to the guild, down into cold stone cellars that smell of wax and medicine. Your training does not begin with books, but with smells. Vinegar, lavender, garlic, amber. Your new allies in a war against an enemy you cannot see. They give you your armor. A long leather coat, soaked in grease, so the sickness will slide off it like water off a duck's feathers. And finally, the mask with the beak. You pack it with theriac, a mixture of 50 herbs. Your only filter between life and the stench of death. Your first walk through the city. The streets are empty, except for rats and shadows. The silence is broken only by the sound of your staff. With it, you check the pulse. With it, you keep grieving people at a distance. And with it, you count the bodies lying in the gutters. You enter the house of a wealthy man. Here, gold means nothing. Death does not take bribes. You find a family frozen in their final embrace. Your duty is not only to heal, but to bear witness. You write down the names. The city must know how many souls the Black Lady claimed today. Sometimes you seal wounds with a red-hot iron. The patient's screams echo louder than the church bells. But you remain silent. The beak of your mask never cries out. You work day and night. Beneath the leather mask, your skin breaks out in painful rashes. After a while, you almost forget what the sun looks like. One day, in a distant corner of the lazaretto, among hundreds of others, you find him. Your father. He is still alive, but his eyes are already staring into eternity. You try everything you have learned. The finest herbs. The purest vinegar. Prayers and steel. But death, like a jealous bride, never gives back what it has claimed. Years pass. The plague fades, but it always returns. You become a legend. Children scare each other with your name, never knowing who you truly are beneath the mask. Your days become an endless cycle of groans and the smell of burning flesh. You no longer fear the dead. It's the living who truly frighten you. You are summoned to the castle. Even behind thick walls, surrounded by gold and silk, the same sickly sweet smell of decay lingers in the air. Death does not care about coats of arms. They offer you chests of gold to save the air, but you know the truth. No herb you carry can stop a swollen bubo. So in the end, you give him opium. The The city council orders entire districts to be burned. Fire is the only way to cleanse the streets of the unseen demon. You stand on a hill, watching the flames rise. But the fire destroys more than just rats. History burns with it. Libraries, shops, entire lives. So you begin secretly gathering books. You build a secret laboratory in the cellar of an abandoned church. There are no crosses here anymore. Only glass vials and your journals. You begin examining the fallen, carefully writing everything down. The church forbids it. The punishment is death. But how do you defeat an enemy if you don't understand how it destroys us from within? One night, you hear a knock at the door. These are not patients. It's the Inquisition. To them, your knowledge is nothing but witchcraft. You escape through hidden tunnels, leading deep into the catacombs. Your world now is darkness, bones, and silence. Down there, you find a community of the forgotten. Lepers, thieves, and orphans. They are not afraid of you. Because to them, you are the only god they have left. You treat them for free. You use clean water and soap. To them, it feels like a miracle. But to you, it's the beginning of something greater. Winter comes. The brutal cold claims more lives than the sickness itself. You see frozen fountains and birds falling from the sky mid-flight. Eventually, you fall ill yourself. Not from the plague, but from pure exhaustion. You lie there in your mask, too afraid to remove it, even in your sleep. Spring arrives in the year 1349. Plague reaches its peak. The city runs out of wood to burn the bodies. So they begin throwing them into the river. Then you witness something strange, a black wedding. Two lovers, knowing they will be dead by morning, choose to marry in the street, surrounded by the dead. Then a prophet appears in the city. He claims the plague is punishment for the sins of women. Soon, the witch hunts begin. And you try to stop them. You see a woman accused of witchcraft. But you know the truth. She's just a herbalist, like you. So you save her and take her down into your underground refuge. She becomes your assistant. The first living soul to see your face in years. And she doesn't fear your scars. But happiness here is only a spark. She becomes infected and dies at dawn. You do not cry. You simply put the mask back on. Your feelings died with her. Now, only the doctor remains. But the world outside is not only sick, it is blind. Your work is still called witchcraft. And your mask, the face of the devil. The Inquisition arrives at dawn. The sound of their iron boots on stone echoes like a sentence that cannot be appealed. Bird of death, you stand accused of defiling the dead and serving the darkness. The Grand Inquisitor's voice is cold, like a stone grave. They seize you. Your laboratories torn apart. Notes, remedies, years of work destroyed. Along with them, the city's last hope. They rip the mask from your face. For the first time in years, cold air touches your skin. And you stand there, exposed before their fury. They throw you into the dungeon of the holy prison. The walls sweat with salt and damp. And the rats here are fatter than the ones in the streets. The Grand Inquisitor comes to visit you. He wants a confession. He wants you to say, this is not a disease. It is punishment for sin. But you remain silent. Then you notice something. A small bead of sweat on his forehead. You know exactly what that means. Then the plague reaches the prison. Executioners and guards collapse. In the very rooms where they once tortured others. Cries for help replace the prayers.
Эй, стражники, вы не можете меня здесь держать! Справедливость восторжествует! Вы пожалеете! Я требую освобождения! Немедленно!
They agree. You take on your form once again. The beak mask returns, ready to breathe in the poison of this world. And you walk toward the Inquisitor's chamber as both savior and judge. The Inquisitor lies there, coughing. His faith did not protect him from the plague. You treat his swollen wounds with the very blade he once planned to use on you. You spend weeks inside the holy prison, turning it into a makeshift hospital. You treat the very men who were ready to burn you yesterday. An ironic dance of fate.
Быстрее, стражи, ведь он должно покрыть каждый угол.
Да, доктор По почти очищен. Не останавливайтесь, чума не ждет. Дым от жаровни усилится, вы готовы. The Grand Inquisitor survives, but his spirit is broken. He signs a decree giving you the right to practice medicine everywhere. Your science now carries the seal of the church, forged in blood and suffering. People begin leaving offerings at your door. Bread, wine, candles. They fear you, but they need you more than they need God. You begin to understand something. The plague is not only death, it is a chance to rebuild the world. You start designing new hospitals. the plague becomes the foundation of a future medical system. But the Black Death never truly leaves Dot. It only grows quiet, gathering strength. Soon, you see the rats dancing again in the grain warehouses. And the cycle begins all over again. You begin gathering apprentices. Orphans from the streets. You teach them medicine, giving them masks instead of names. You become the shadow rulers of the city. When the sound of your staffs echoes through the streets, even the guards stand still. You are the plague doctors. After a long quarantine, the first ships return from distant lands. They carry silk, spices, and new strains of disease. So you prepare. Then the year 1353 arrives, and the Great Plague begins to fade. You stand on the city wall, watching nature reclaim the land. But one question remains. Why did death decide to leave? You realize the enemy hasn't disappeared. It simply ran out of victims. Those who survived have grown stronger. Their blood now knows the secret of the war. The harsh winters did their part as well. The frost killed the fleas and rats in the ports. It was as if the earth itself chose to cleanse the fever with ice. But the most important thing were your orders. Quarantine. 40 days of silence. You forced the world to stand still, and the plague suffocated in empty streets. The aftermath was worse than the disease itself. Half of Europe became a vast graveyard. Villages stood empty, and the fields grew wild with thistles. But those who survived no longer wished to live as servants. Peasants realized their labor was now worth its weight in gold. And the feudal world began to crack. The church stayed silent while thousands died. Faith slowly turned into doubt. People stopped looking to the heavens and began looking into your books of anatomy. It became one of the sparks that would later divide the Catholic Church. You witnessed the fall of one world and the birth of another. But in this new world, there is no place for you. You are the symbol of a nightmare everyone wants to forget. Your body, held together for years by sheer will, begins to fail. You return to your home. Inside the mask, the air feels suffocating. You take it off and realize something. You are no longer the doctor. You are just an old man. That night, a heavy rain begins to fall. It washes away the last ash of the fires and the dust from the old stones. The city feels as if it is being cleansed. Your pulse slows. 1 beat, 2, then silence. The next morning, your student finds you. You look as if you simply paused, thinking about the next page of your journal. That night, your fellow doctors gathered. No words. No tears. They know you are not truly gone. You have simply become their shadow. They take every valuable page from your home, your notes, your journals, everything you discovered. Then they burn the house, so none of it falls into the wrong hands. Centuries later, your mask becomes a museum piece. People stare at it behind glass and shiver. And that was the story of a man who became a shield between the world of the living and the abyss. His name was forgotten, but his legacy lives on in all of us. Did this story move you? If the fate of the Plague Doctor touched your heart, leave a like. It's the best way to support the channel. And tell me, what era should we explore next? You choose the time.